Welcome back to another episode of Herbet Unfiltered. Thank you for if you've been listening all this while, thank you for tuning into us. I know that we have not been consistent with this podcast, and therefore we are now committed again, hopefully, that we can release this every Monday. And our team is doing a fantastic job of trying to make sure that we release this every Monday. So hope this sticks.
Yeah. Man, as long as we do this together, guys.
All right, so today's topic is going to be about how to develop non-cringy content as a brand.
So what is actually cringy content as per your definition?
I mean, there's like a lot of definition you can give. For me, okay, I think there's a lot of definitions. So for me, straight to my brain is about product placements. When it can become cringy, as in the sense like cuba macam, like, for example, you are treating a content like an ad.
Mm-hmm.
When I say that, like, for example, how can I give an example? Okay, say you're on your FYP, you're browsing content and all those things, and then you see a particular, like, a comedy or some sort of like into the comedy flow. So the algorithm thinks you like comedy, but there's a way for brands to beat around and get into your FYP by taking popular trends, right? Like, for example, like a funny sketch. A lot of now there's so many trends that businesses recreate. So some of it flawlessly will be recreated and you will enjoy it. But there are also the ones that that they were forced to do it. They were like not in the flow of doing it. Like literally the vibe of that person and the vibe of the video like tak matching betul. Like really. That to me is your number one cringy content as a brand. Like, you guys just trying to become popular, and it then pulls off like a negativity towards the brand. I feel like, why you're trying so hard, like, do it, just run an ad or something like that instead of stuffing your way in there. So that is, for me, I think it's a bit cringy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, you cannot treat content itself like ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Macam if it's in the cinema, I think it's different because people are prepared to watch ads in the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
They're not macam on autopilot when we, kalau when we're watching content on the phone ke, we don't expect. Kalau boleh, we don't want to see the ads because we can just switch off anytime. They cannot really like bargain with our time, unlike the cinema.
I think it's about a user experience, like content user experience. So like you go to the theater, the experience is 15 minutes before the show, they're going to run ads.
Yeah.
So you can make the decision whether to go to the cinema 15 minutes
I
on
can
time.
be a bit late or go to toilet.
Exactly.
And,
you do that things. And some people really enjoy those the experience of like, oh, there's a new trailer, you want to see what's new products. You're okay with it. Like, I'm fine with it. Sometimes sit down, okay, there's new twisties advertisement. And then we all will be like, that advertisement sucks, this advertisement is good, those kinds of things. So I think that's an experience. Similarly, on the digital side, digital side, you have these experiences as well. The user flow. For YouTube, for example, you have the pre-roll ads. So you're accustomed to, like, okay, you gotta wait that 3 seconds and then you skip ads. So you know that's going to happen, an ad is going to come. Even in television, you're watching a program, like, we're going to be back. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And then there's a commercial coming in. So you already prompted. So you can make decisions as users to stick on or do something else. Right? Similarly, with IG, you have the sponsored feed. You have a sponsored feed that pops up. You know that's an ad. When you see it, you know the word sponsored there. You know it's an ad. And nowadays, these algorithms, although they feed you ads, that's a different story. But mostly, they are all contextual. They feed you the ads that are probably into your interest, probably into your location, a lot of those things. Maybe you searched for nasi lemak, and then they start showing you all the nasi lemak outlets. Or maybe or there's an unspoken truth of like the phones listen to you and you talk
They
about
definitely listen to you. Berapa banyak kali we talk about nasi lemak and then nasi lemak ad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the phones listen to you.
I'm saying it.
But it's, I mean, that's on you. But yeah, these things, as creepy as it sounds, but somehow rather maybe there's a more intellectual way that they're finding out how maybe we did text about nasi lemak beforehand. So that's how it's picking up on these advertisements. Okay, we are sidetracking there. But my point is, if you are searching nasi lemak, your ads are going to be related to the nasi lemak. So the algorithm knows the time and placement of when to show you what, right? So that's a user experience. So when you create this cringy content that is trying to make use of the free algorithm, you have to understand that we are now getting into as a user, you have to respect a user. When you create this content, you could be happily brain rotting there with your brain rot content, or you could be,
or you could be like leveraging, leveraging on the algorithm, just creating content for the sake of getting the
exactly.
The
so you're on your rabbit hole of your FYPs and stuff, and suddenly you get recommended this company contents, that's why it's not that popular. Like company creating content or business creating content very unlikely gets into your FYP, but your majority, 70%, is going to be user-generated stuff. And casual users, creators, and stuff like that, right? Because generally people like people, and that's when all these things happen. It's more tough. So because it's tough, brands try to emulate creators and start creating content like creators. That's good. But that also can go wrong if, as I said earlier, if your vibe and your the style you're forced to do it. If it doesn't align being original, then there's no point doing it. But there are times where this content can slip in because of the algorithm, the trend. Maybe you're watching a particular trend of like a particular dance, you will see the same dance again and again. So imagine this company does this dance, but it's really horrible. They are really not into the dance. But just because that audio, the popular audio was going on, and then this one just pops up.
Right.
So, and then you'll be like, this is a hard sell. And then you can see the account's name there, and that's going to be a bad impression. So to me, that's something, the red flag that you should not do it at all. Unless you really can pull it off. I think if you're experimenting, it's fine. But you're going to constantly keep pushing on it, then it's not good. Find something that is more natural for the brand to do.
Yeah.
I think we also equally at fault here when we experiment. But we get away with it by the word experiment.
We're marketing agency, is fine.
Testing. We do test a lot of things. And you can see some like it's forced to do and some is natural for the team. So, and then you have to make that decision like, okay, this is forced. So we cut it off, right?
Yeah.
So similarly, our brands also should look at it and say, look, this is going to be cringy. This looks forced. Let's cut it off.
Yeah.
And let's focus on the next proper thing. So in that sense, what do you think about this? Like from this user experience point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I get everyone's excited to jump on the trend bandwagon, but you don't really need to do all of the trends, pick and choose. Because sometimes not doing something also speaks louder. But one thing I want to note is, this is bad. But there's one company who managed to do it okay. It was a blenders. Remember Blendtech?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were selling blenders. So every episode is just like, hey guys, will it blend? And then they blend something new, like a broom or like a machine. And they're made out of metal, wood, and every episode just shows the blender's power, raw power in action. And that's it. They don't ask you to buy or whatever. Just like, here's our product. It works. So that's a repeatable formula. Like as a teenager, masa tu, eating lunch, watching these things. I do want. I wonder what they're gonna blend today. Is it? I was always expecting the machine to break down, but no, never. It's really powerful. So that's something that works. I think. It's definitely easier to execute these things on a product compared to service or perishable food. And
I agree. So that's from a point of view of a brand putting in product placement as their main thing, but it's like a series kind of thing.
right, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a story-based content. Yeah.
It's still like a product placement, but it's doable. So that's a repeatable series. There's an expectation there. You have that. Like what's next?
Yeah.
It's just going to be blended, or this is going to break the machine. Right?
Yeah.
So there's an anticipation there. I think that's an organic connection there already. It's not forced.
We like to watch blenders.
Besides, product-based placement kind of content, trying not to be cringy, riding onto trends and all those things. But what if content was just trying to be purely humorous? Can that still be cringy?
Yeah, I mean, like when you force the humor, definitely it looks cringy and people, they make this. I mean, not people maybe businesses, they think that humor is a content pillar. So what ends up happening is you recycle the humor, and after a while, people don't laugh. You start laughing at the same joke 100 times. So like, what?
Just like all those people with the dance, like pointing fingers here and there.
So I mean, you don't have to be funny all the time. Instead, you can. I mean, there's plenty of ways to be relevant and to be relatable. If you do a bit of research about your audience, then if you know, you don't just need to poke the funny bone. They also appreciate it if you can be sad with them, will be angry with them, and play with these emotions.
I think authenticity, yes. I agree. Now, there's another angle to this. A lot of this content that really do well tend to be creator content, tend to be people, right? Just regular folks. Like for example, this podcast, it's not part of the. It could be the company's same branding and all that, but it's like a sub show, right? It's like a separate thing. So, what can brands do to create content like creators that is non-cringy, but at the same time able to brand? You get what I mean? Like most of these, the examples that we've been talking about, the ones you were saying, it's like movements or it's like creators doing repeatable things and stuff like that. It's fine. Okay, it's great. But when brands approach it, it can go wrong. So how can we, integrate brands into these kinds of content?
Okay, I'm not going to say how, but one good example is Coke Studio.
Okay.
They just collaborate with your favorite artist. I'm sure you know. Collaborate with your favorite artist.
Yeah.
But the Coke branding is powered by Coke.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic example. I think Coke Studio, when I got to know about it, was when I like Amir Norman. So I think a few years back, it suddenly popped up in the feed, because you search Amir Norman songs and it recommends you stuff again.
Slumdog Millionaire.
So I think it was right after that, all those Oscar things and stuff like that. So anyway, that's how I got to know Coke Studio, and it was like, hey, what's this? What's this Coke Studio? Tomorrow's Sprite Studio? What's this and all about? Like, it's a marketing by Coke ke apa ni? And then it turns out it is like a show produced by, like those days when you have concerts and festivals and it's produced by Coke or iTunes Festival. Apple used to have this iTunes Festival and all those things. So I thought it's one of those things, but now it's in the digital platform. So it's like its own entertaining show on its own.
Yeah. Like a Netflix show.
And I think that's fantastic. Branding. It's not part of their core product placement, or it's not part of their the core 3D ads or whatever things that they do.
Like it's very subtle. Like they don't have to perform, but they're telling people that but we associate ourselves. We can power this. So we associate ourselves with these things. Therefore, we are cool.
I mean, I listened because how did you get to know about Coke Studio?
So they collaborated with New Jeans. I love New Jeans. And yeah, they didn't just collaborate, but they also made like was it 1 or 2? I think a new song. Yeah, specifically about okay, now that I think about it, it's definitely an ad because the song is just like asking them to drink Coke. But like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like they're pushing. I'm okay with that because I like the performance and I just want to hear the songs. And I'm not gonna buy Coke afterwards lah, but like, you know, I didn't cringe.
Right. I think it is fantastic because even Irama, they created a new set of songs. They don't just perform old ones. They create a new set of songs. That's the whole idea about Coke Studio. It's something fresh. It's a collab.
Right.
You know, so I think that's getting people's culture, understanding what's popular, what's culture.
The A.R. Rahman one was Coke Studio India, right? They had the
they are doing it like in regional areas. They're doing it in India. They're doing it in Pakistan. I think that's how it started actually. And now I think it's like spreading all over. They are in most countries now.
See, like when Coke, they definitely went with the approach of
being relevant with music.
Yeah, and then localizing, trying to understand the local culture, pandering to that rather than just a template for everyone.
That's all. So I mean, that's great. Okay, Aki. Now maybe people listening to this is like, okay, that's good for Coke. They have huge budgets. They can do all these things. They can make their own Netflix if they want. So large brands is fine. But what about like, smaller brands that have may not have the money or are not in the size of Coke?
Zam Cola.
No, I mean smaller brands like anything, like maybe your, I don't know, like small brands, even like us, or maybe like a small IT company or app or something like that. Okay, so what kind of content can non-cringy content, similar approach, can this guy take?
There's this shop called Grumpy Bagels something, right? Have you PJ?
I'm not sure. Okay, by the SG scene.
Yeah.
So the cafe owner who has been like vlogging and stuff like
correct.
that. Yeah.
Right. She's doing like a mini documentary series. She just shows you her progress, renovation progress, is it?
I think everything, if not mistaken, is like before her story was something like before the cafe was open, she like went through a series of like renovation and the hurdles and all those things that to set up this whole cafe and all that. And turns out on the opening day, because of all those that content all around that months, opening day was full house. And ever since then, you have steady flow of customers. And I think I saw that she also now covers like post 6 months, holidays, of law and all those things. So it keeps the vibe going, and it always shows content like behind the kitchen, behind the scenes, how this is done. So that's a series which is just purely vlogging and documenting the process.
Yeah.
So I think this is the fail-proof method for anyone who can have a business, can start doing this documenting journey kind of thing. The easiest way to do, especially if you're like product kind of business, like or like a cafe where you have to sell something.
Yeah.
Service maybe kurang sikit lah untuk vlogging, because
I guess construction.
Boleh lah, like
service, like a cleaning service.
Macam
wash your carpet.
Like retail and all that. So you can do a lot of like a day in my life of setting up, putting up your clothes and showing your clothes and all. You can do a lot of things. So that's like a fail-proof method. Besides that, lagi apa boleh kita?
I guess all these things fall under the category of documentary and educational. But itulah, by showing you what's real and what's actually they're going through, macam you are able to connect with the audience emotionally rather than having to become a comedian. So
as we speak, I there's one brand in my head that I'm ringing bell, man. Okay, there's a company called Hiredly. I did take some notes there earlier. Hiredly is a nice brand. They pop up on my FYP.
Oh, the street interview stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, and it's very rare, brands pop up on your FYP. But when they do, it's really good because they are content like a series that you expect. Like, those guys who go and ask, like, how much do you pay for rent? Or what do you do for a living? Those kinds of guys, those kinds of repeated content, proven track record, but they now embed it into Hiredly, a hiring platform, going around asking youngsters, what's your salary?
Yeah.
And then they're trying to do this salary match bracketing, trying to find out what is the medium or the average salary and things like that, right? So those kind of thing gets popular and gets viral, and then it comes to your FYP. So it's nice. Consumers, nothing cringy. It's like, hey, real information, relatable to the company, and it's a series, and your expectation is there, and you keep watching again and again. So I think you can build up from there. So they can keep that series and then think of like a new series again, or a new series. So you can treat your channel or your profile like a Netflix account, and you can create series within that account. Not necessarily you're gonna spend all the money and do like a separate Coke Studio show, or like this, like a podcast. Like what we are doing is it's a mini Coke Studio. We are doing like a separate podcast. You don't necessarily need to do that. You can run stuff in your account, treat your account as like your own Netflix, and then you create lots of series within it that people can consume. And so that's how original content. It's like your own Netflix original series, so you can be like Company A original series or something like that. That's, I think, one of the best ways to create content for companies today. Very organic. You can then escape that cringiness.
Yeah.
Because you're not copying, it's original, it's you.
Yeah.
If it's not as expected, it's fine, it's original. No, I don't think so people will call you out for like being yourself.
Yeah, and especially if you have your own niche of followers, you're making the content for them. It works for them. It doesn't need to be generic for everyone.
Betul. I mean, we can go on this. I think we'll save this for another episode. So what we're trying to do here in Herbet Unfiltered is basically trying to deep dive into like a lot of examples. Amir and myself, we have been busy running this company. But what we're trying to also do is to spend some time, do some research before every episode. So we try to give as much value as we can. So make sure that, whether it's case studies and stuff like that, we'll try to pick up as much as we can. If anybody would like us to give our opinion on any other case studies or any other topic related to this whole marketing and content, please feel free to drop us a comment, contact us and send us those stuff, and we'll review it. What do you think, Amir? Will you review it?
Gladly.
So we've been putting a little bit of homework to this, spending some time preparing all these notes. I think
we don't want to feed you fluff content.
I think we want to make sure that these episodes have good something they can take away from here.
Takeaways.
Rather than just being like a vomit session.
You don't feel like you wasted your time.
Yeah. So we come to the end of this episode, and we shall conclude by asking Amir, what do you think? What's your conclusion to all this thing? Content.
Thank you. My opinion. I mean, before you make your content, I think it's best to just prime your audience first, and then especially when you're advertising, bagilah salam dulu. So contoh, if it would really help if people see a lot of your content first, they recognize your face or whatever, and then they see your ad. It's easier to process the whole thing rather than I don't know you and then, hey, do you want donut? RM1. So like because decisions are made emotionally, and you kind of have to have some finesse in that and manage expectations properly.
All right, so we've come to a conclusion of this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in this podcast, wherever you're listening from. It means a lot to us. Thank you. In return, we are trying to this podcast. Previously, we were just vomiting whatever we had in mind kind of thing podcast, but we are trying to make this serious and commit to this podcast every Monday to release an episode. And we are doing our homework. We're trying to research material before we present so that we can filter out what's really what's impactful or some value that people listening can get from you. Hope you get value out of all these things. We're putting some time and effort to it, so hope it's fruitful for not just us doing it as a branding thing, but for the end user as well. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.